In continuing the breakdown of the Lakers' intro press conference, one player who was almost ignored was Ivan Rabb. Shockingly, not a single reporter asked about him. Sure, his name came up in passing with DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, and the other new pieces, but no one asked directly about Rabb. The only reason he was even discussed was because JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka themselves brought him up, going out of their way to give him credit and highlight his game. That's what it took. Honestly, he's being overlooked way too much. No, he's not a big name like Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, or of course LeBron James. But he's still a valuable pickup for this team and has a real shot to make an impact. And honestly, he might even have the longest path to stick with this roster out of all the new guys. Whether you're talking Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, or even their draft choice Bronny James, Rabb's case is just as real, if not more so. The upside with him is clear, based on what he's already shown in the NBA, and what he can still bring to this team in the role they badly need filled. That classic 3 and D wing, a real two-way presence. Jake LaRavia is actually way more important to this roster than most casual fans seem to realize. Of course, both JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka already know this and made it clear. So here's what they actually said about him. After that, we'll break it down, look at what they really meant, and go deeper into LaRavia's game and outlook heading into next season.
And we know that LeBron and Luka both have thrived with players that have that 3 and D component. We felt like Jake LaRavia is a young player that is really good now and has a lot of growth left in him. And then Marcus Smart has proven to be an elite 3 and D player at different points of his career. And
I think just touching for me a little bit on Jake, who didn't have his option picked up as a rookie for his 4th year. So, probably unexpected that he ends up being a free agent this time, a year or two ago. And so, to get a young player in free agency for a team that is trying to win a championship, it's an incredible opportunity for myself and our player development department to have him continue to grow. I'm very high on him. His level of commitment to what we've asked of the guys this offseason has been very high. And obviously played against Marcus, played against DeAndre. Marcus and I had many battles, 13 stitches over my left eye.
Like I said, both Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick had high praise for Jake LaRavia for plenty of reasons, but mainly because of his ability to actually help on both sides of the floor, being that two-way piece, the real 3 and D guy they need. And honestly, that has to be his main focus this season. Breaking it down step by step, Rob Pelinka didn't waste time. He straight up used the term 3 and D when talking about LaRavia, and it made sense. That's exactly what this roster lacks right now, and they're clearly expecting him to lock into that role for their team. This season, the Lakers don't really have anyone else who can fill that role besides him. Sure, maybe Jared Vanderbilt if he ever develops a real 3-point shot. Maybe Rui Hachimura if he suddenly makes a defensive leap. And maybe, down the line, even Jalen Hood-Schifino could grow into it. But right now, Jake LaRavia is easily their best bet. He proved it last season, hitting 42.3% from deep. That alone checks the box as a shooter. Defensively, depending on which numbers you look at, the picture shifts, but per defensive BPM, he posted a plus 1.1, which means he had a positive defensive impact. That's not fake hype, that's real. So, he's already shown enough to earn the 3 and D tag, that true two-way skill set. Is he fully consistent yet? No, but he's flashed enough moments that could very well translate into him becoming a steady, reliable 3 and D option for this team. Of course, all of this depends on him becoming more consistent, mainly on defense. The offense isn't really a concern. He shot 42% from 3 last year, which was his first time breaking 35%. But it was also the first time he actually got steady minutes, and he clearly took advantage of that. Offensively, he's fine. Defensively, though, there's plenty to like. He's 6 feet 8 inches with a 6 feet 10 inches wingspan, but still quick enough to stay with guards. No, he's not the ideal point guard stopper, but he can hold his own on switches or temporary matchups while still being better suited to defend wings. Last season proves it. LaRavia defended point guards 17% of the time, shooting guards 29%, small forwards 27%, power forwards 19%, and even centers about 8%. That's versatility right there, showing he can switch across positions and use both his size and length effectively. His footwork, his ability to stay in front of guards, wings, even bigger wings, that's something this Lakers roster really doesn't have enough of. That's why the first thing mentioned about Jake LaRavia was his 3-and-D upside. That's the exact role they brought him in for. But beyond that, what really stood out was the upside. Rob Pelinka made the point. JJ Redick echoed it. How young he still is and how much room he has left to grow, even after already flashing strong moments. He's only 23 and has already proven he can be a role player. With one solid season on a playoff team in Memphis, plus earlier flashes of being reliable before last year. The fact he's 23, already looking like a true 3-and-D option, but still has tons of development left. That's what excites them. Redick even talked about how pumped he is to coach LaRavia, with the Lakers development staff eager to bring the best out of him. Not only that, but the The Lakers desperately need Marcus Smart, especially after losing Dorian Finney-Smith, who was their only real 3-and-D role player. Smart will take on that role, not just in skills and stats, but more importantly in mentality, communication, and leadership. That's why Buss is excited about him, and why Jeanie Buss seems to believe he can change the team's culture. But the Lakers have a bigger issue they need a wake-up call on: their defense. It's not that they can't do it. They've shown they can, but they haven't made it a habit for years, both before and after Buss took over. Last season, they gave up the 5th most fast break points per game, nearly 17, and it got worse in the playoffs. Combine that with poor paint defense and bad defensive rebounding, and they've got a big defensive problem. Smart might be the spark to fix it, but critics say it's unrealistic to expect him alone to change years of defensive neglect. They also gave up too many offensive rebounds, something they hope will change with the arrival of DeAndre Jordan. But when it comes to transition defense and hustling back, Marcus Smart will be extremely valuable, maybe even invaluable. That's the big picture with Smart. The numbers, the expectations, and the intangibles Buss and Pelinka highlighted. Now the big question is whether Smart can actually live up to it. Then there's DeAndre Jordan, another big new addition. Both Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka had plenty to say about him. Buss talked about his offense, his status as a former first overall draft pick, and how playing alongside a veteran like Chris Paul shaped his pick-and-roll game. Now the Lakers are hoping that skill set will translate well with Luka Doncic. Buss and Pelinka clearly see a big role for Jordan, but some critics wonder if he still has enough left in the tank to make a real impact. Jeanie Buss clearly sees DeAndre Jordan as a major offseason acquisition. She explained his role and expectations, saying it comes down to daily commitment. Jordan, a former #1 pick, has delivered in every situation, from early in his career to being a defensive anchor and starter in the NBA Finals after the Chris Paul trade. Buss pointed out that Jordan's experience, especially running pick and rolls with Paul, makes him one of the most detail-oriented players in the league. His feel for two-man action is elite, and Buss is excited to see how that translates with Luka Doncic. But some critics argue Jordan's best years are behind him, questioning whether he can still be the defensive anchor the Lakers desperately need. With Luka Doncic, DeAndre Jordan brings a lot to the Lakers. Buss said having a true center who excels in the short roll changes everything. In pick and rolls with Austin Reeves, Luka, and even LeBron James, Jordan's ability to catch passes in the short roll is a huge asset. We've already seen glimpses of it in workouts. He's also a serious lob threat, adding another dimension. His size is undeniable. LeBron and Luka have thrived with players who bring that 3-and-D component. Buss noted that Jake LaRavia is a young player with growth potential, and Marcus Smart has proven to be an elite 3-and-D player in his career. Their sports performance staff is working hard to get Smart back to that form. He was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate just a few seasons ago. Simply put, Buss sees DeAndre as a key piece, but critics argue his impact may be overrated given his age and recent performance decline. DeAndre Jordan will be a game changer for the Lakers in the paint, and Jeanie Buss knows it. His ability in the short roll, pick-and-roll execution, mid-range shooting, and touch around the rim all make him a major asset. Defensively, his rim protection is valuable, but even more important is his defensive rebounding, something the Lakers struggled with last season. Stopping opponents from getting second-chance points was a major problem, and Jordan is guaranteed to help fix that. Sure, it's not certain he'll stay healthy for all 82 games or play at his best every night, but one thing is clear: he will be a strong rebounder. In his NBA career, Jordan has never averaged fewer than 10 rebounds per game, posting 10.2 last season, with over 7 defensive boards per game. Critics, however, say his age and declining mobility could limit just how much of a difference he makes. DeAndre Jordan averaged over 10 rebounds per game last season, including more than 3 offensive boards, ranking him in the top 15 in both categories. His paint production was also impressive, ranking 22nd in points in the paint per game despite playing fewer minutes than most centers, scoring nearly 11 points in the paint each game. He was 9th overall in second-chance points, averaging 3.6 per game. That skill set, getting touches in the paint through pick-and-rolls, dump-offs, and cleaning up rebounds, could fit perfectly with Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. Buss believes Jordan fills a gap the Lakers desperately needed. Whether he starts or comes off the bench, it's clear his presence changes the Lakers' dynamics. Some fans are excited, others skeptical, wondering if age and minutes will limit his impact. Either way, it will be fascinating to see how Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka integrate him and Marcus Smart into the rotation. I guess there's a little debate about whether DeAndre Jordan will start, but the main point is clear: they have big plans for him and Marcus Smart. Jeanie Buss hinted at it during the introductory press conference, and it's going to be exciting to see how it plays out in training camp, preseason, and the regular season. So what do you think? What are your expectations for Marcus Smart and DeAndre Jordan entering training camp? Do you agree with what Jeanie Buss said about them? How do you think Coach Darvin Ham will use them? And how will the Lakers season look with these two on board? Share your thoughts in the comments. That wraps it up for this one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and have a great day or night.